Now back at home, Lloydminster RCMP making another significant seizure this week. Over $100,000 in drugs and cash were seized as the result of a planned operation that started with a traffic stop and ended with an execution of a search warrant on Wednesday.
There was seized just under $33,000 in cash and approximately $70,000 worth of street level for the drugs themselves.
A variety of drugs were seized, including approximately 4.8 kilograms of marijuana, as well as methamphetamine, cocaine, fentanyl, LSD, MDMA, and mushrooms.
One thing that is a little bit different that we haven't seen a whole lot of was canned marijuana, something that we're able to understand and look into a little bit more.
Along with the drugs and cash, 3 rifles and 2 handguns also found.
Being able to take not only drugs but also weapons off the street is a massive victory for the RCMP inside of Lloydminster.
Joseph Gudmanson, Jason Christa, Gordon Howard from Lloydminster, and Aaron Papadinets of Red Deer facing drugs and weapons charges. They will appear in Alberta Provincial Court next week. A quiet and cautious optimism may be returning to the border city's development market. On Monday, City Council taking steps by implementing an area structure plan and rezoning multiple properties from a new neighborhood to a bowling alley. Adam McVicker has more.
I feel that there's a breath of fresh air coming into the economy.
It's not quite a perfect strike yet, but city officials feel development may be heating up in Lloydminster.
Not necessarily a bunch of big new things, but there's a few houses being built. There's a few plans coming in. Could be some renovations. So it's generally speaking appears to be a little more active.
On the smaller scale, council approving a property rezoning at the request of Lloyd Lanes, who are looking to bring a bowling alley back to the border city.
So it's an activity that's reasonably priced that hasn't been available, and so I think it's important.
I think there was many groups, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and other community groups that were really excited about hearing the news. I think that's very positive. We're seeing investment in the community.
That investment includes Phase 6 of the Lakeside subdivision in the city's southwest, the rezoning of over 12 hectares of land approved at Monday's meeting.
Seeing developers saying we need some more lots, another great sign. How fast those lots come on, certainly going to be driven by the economy.
City Council also approving an area structure plan. That's to make sure that new subdivision projects like the one behind me conform to the city's long-term planning to prevent, quote, disorderly development.
It provides the city with very clear direction on how the neighborhoods in the city is going to grow.
The ASP gives City Council a say in any changes to design of subdivision developments moving forward.
When we plan streets, we've covered off all the traffic issues. When we plan for schools, when we plan for developments in neighborhoods, because that's what the whole idea of the area structure plan is to get that big picture overview so you know where you want to take your community.
The ASP and rezoning doesn't mean shovels will be in the ground just yet, but with underground work already complete on Lakeside, Council is hopeful work will pick up based on demand. Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
The Saskatchewan government has cut funding for public libraries by 58% in the provincial budget. For Lloydminster, that means waiting to find out how the regional libraries suggest smaller communities move forward. Now, the province cut more than $4 million in 2 segments. The first, Saskatoon and Regina, which share their resources with smaller libraries. The second cuts to headquarters of 7 regional libraries, which Lloydminster belongs to.
We're not panicking at this point because as I said, we have the unique advantage of 2/3 of the population being in Alberta. So that gives us a buffer no other library in the province has.
At this point, the closing of libraries in other communities may be on the horizon. However, here at home, the community will begin to see many things disappearing in the next 90 days.
We're looking at everything from cancellation of book buying, cancellation of the online electronic resources that the government has suggested be the replacement. Well, if you don't have the money to buy them, you can't replace them. To the basic vehicle and driver that moves the materials between the locations.
A decision will be made in the next week based on information that the library will use to decide what services and products will be reduced or taken away. For about the last 5 years, St. Mary's Elementary School has run an advanced math program for select students. As we see in this week's Beyond the Classroom, it follows the same curriculum that everyone else does, but moves faster and incorporates technology. Math comes easy to these students, and as a result, they've been selected to be in the Integrated Math and Technology program, a program designed for kids in grades 4 to 7 who need a bigger challenge.
We look at different things like their behavior in the classroom, their different scorings and how they're doing in math, and we decide as a whole, and our administration kind of decides who should enter the program.
Nicole Blay has been teaching the IMT program since September. She says the students still learn the same curriculum as everyone else, but they go through it faster, and when they get a little bit ahead, they stop and integrate some technology.
Robotics, the students are on different websites doing coding, doing a little bit of Tinkercad, which is 3D printing.
In this program, the class is also organized a bit differently. The students work at tables instead of desks, aimed at creating a more collaborative atmosphere.
They're learning from each other. It's meant to be kind of an environment where they can chat and they can help each other.
Math is Riley Grace Wood's favorite subject. She says being in the IMT program is more her speed.
I was in the other math class for a while and I felt that I was getting bored all of the time just because it was slower, and I like the pace because it's faster and it's more efficient.
A sentiment shared among some of her other math-loving peers.
I get my work done really fast, and then in the other in this class where when I'm done, a lot of the people are also done, so then we can move on quicker.
As for Blay, she says in this technology-driven world, it's important to open students up to new experiences and opportunities they wouldn't have in the regular classroom. When most people reflect back on their lives, they'd like to know they did the most with the time they had. As Lance Phillips shows us, one Lloydminster man's reflection will include fond memories of playing hockey for over 7 decades.
At 82 years old, what do you hope to be doing? Almost certainly, those who played hockey would say they'd like to still enjoy the game from their couch. In Joe Rook's case, he does still enjoy the game on the ice. Saturday, the father of 8, grandfather of 18, and great-grandfather of 6 played in possibly one of his last games as a shoulda had him. And it was a special occasion with most of his family acting as the official Rooks Rocks cheering section.
Oh, I appreciate the family, love them all. They're always supported me, yeah, and I hope they still do.
Well, I'll tell you, it's pretty special, and especially to have my son here watching too, and my daughter. We come out as much as we can, actually. We get to see him a few times throughout the year.
It's pretty incredible because of the, all the family that's here today too. There's just no words for it. I'm very, very fortunate to be here to see that.
I've been here for, 10 or 15 years, something like that, and it's been a great crew to be with, and Joe's always the smart aleck in the dressing room that keeps us in line. So.
Rooks didn't score on this occasion, but he did notch an assist and nearly provided the team with a shootout goal. A performance good enough to earn some substantial honors.
Tonight's match with 1 assist, number 16, Joe Rooks.
That's pretty awesome. 82 years old and first star. The guys on the team are so good to him, but just to be here and see that is an inspiration because really, who's out there at 82 years old on the ice doing anything?
You got first star out there.
Did I? Yeah. Well, that's good. I don't know how I did that. The family's always supported me, and yeah, my son played and my grandson played. Now I've got a great-grandson playing, so there's a history of 4 generations playing. And I hope I'm there for the 5th generation.
Talk is that Rooks was considering hanging his skates up after the weekend, but the jury is still very much out on the subject.
If he doesn't do that, he's actually played snooker pool in the Alberta Seniors games, so there's always that.
I don't know. I think we're going on 8 or 9 years now that he was going to hang him up. I hope not. We actually enjoy playing against him. It's a lot of fun.
Joe doesn't score as much as he used to, so when asked about any outstanding memories, one did pop out.
Oh, there were so many, it's hard to pick one. Yeah, so many great guys that, I did score a goal in overtime one time, so maybe that's the best one.
It's kind of in his blood. Even when Mom was still here, they were at every game at the Civic Center. They had, their own seats that everybody paid attention to, but no matter who was playing, whether they knew them or not, they were always at the game.
The Shoulda-Hadams have a long-standing hockey tradition dating back to the 1970s. And of those original Shoulda-Hadams that first suited up over 40 years ago, only one remains on the ice. And watching Rooks play Saturday was not only motivational, it was inspirational. Seeing a man play the game he loves when others over half his age can't begs just one question. Are we looking after our bodies the way we should? Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Competition in any sport is fierce at local high schools, which means preparing for the competitive leap from elementary to high school is essential. And one Lloydminster school is producing quality badminton players for the next step. Bishop Lloyd Middle School has numerous teams earning medals in the sport, which is quite an accomplishment considering how thinly spread many of the kids are.
We have a lot of kids on our grade 9 badminton team here at Bishop. We took 17 kids because a lot of them play club volleyball, they swim, they dance, they play spring hockey. They're busy kids, and for them it's more just about getting them involved and teaching them the right things on the court.
Teaching these young athletes involves lessons far beyond just badminton, and the jump to high school is substantial in all aspects. As a feeder school, Bishop Lloyd takes its role seriously with the knowledge that some of its athletes may not.
A lot of them don't see it till you're actually physically, donning the purple and gold at the comp. And, they see the crowds, they see the intensity, and high school life to middle school life is a completely different animal when it comes to the academic life, the athletic life, the social life. It's a night and day difference that, some of the kids are ready for and some aren't, to be frank. So it's about making sure they can step in there.